Alright, what's going on, people? Y'all doing? I gotta be the one to keep this shit afloat. What's going on, people? This is Shad, and this is another
YouTube voice.
He just pretty much said he carried the whole show.
That's crazy.
He did say that.
Yeah.
Rock out.
We don't. You the one. You
You're
the
a ruffin' ass nigga.
Right.
Ain't nobody come to see y'all, Otis. So yeah, this is another episode of BDSM, business, devotion, sex, and marriage.
There we go.
And since these niggas want to play around all day and it's late, I'm tired. Let's get this shit rolling. I'm here with Elle, my wife Elle.
Hello.
Brittney and Javon.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
So I guess we could start off with like, what do you guys feel was the reception for the first episode?
You go first. Well, Javon didn't repost it, so he doesn't know. So that's why he told me to go first. But
Why you repost it?
I don't know. No idea. Yeah, Javon.
So
Why?
we are carrying the weight of this. Okay, Farrah.
So he Otis.
He Farrah.
Oh, he Farrah.
Destiny's Child.
Oh
I'm
wow.
fair from who?
Destiny's Child.
You know who
That's
Destiny's
crazy.
Child is?
Yeah, I don't know who Fair is.
Exactly. That's the point. That is the point. Anyway, the reception was great on my end. People were really listening to it. They really enjoyed it. So I heard that it was real, raw.
Okay.
Yeah, some of the roots I got.
Yeah, that's dope.
I had the same thing. Some of my friends said they're going to stop following Brittney.
Stop.
Because you said that her followers were bitter.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You want some juice? I'm not
That
sharing
was
my
kind of
juice.
rude.
Oh yeah.
What did your friends say, Javon, since you didn't share it?
Yeah, Javon, what'd your friend say?
I don't have much feedback tonight, but next time.
Why didn't you share it, though?
I think I was asleep when Shad sent me.
You were asleep for 3 weeks?
And then it slipped my mind,
It's crazy.
and I forgot to go back in the group chat.
Crazy.
I shared it, though. I shared it.
Y'all me.
It's my bio, actually.
Okay.
Sips juice.
All right, so Brittney, what we talking about tonight?
We are talking about.
Y'all don't come for me no more.
Hey, you gotta share it. So for let's start off. Let's just get right into it. Let's start off.
What are we
with
getting right into?
saging, stones, and spirituality.
Oh.
This
The
is
B?
That is the D. You
Why
want to
always
start?
start with the B? Because are the B's war?
These are like business questions from IG. No, let's start off with sage, stones, and spirituality.
this is the y'all question because I have no idea what this is.
You don't know what saging is?
I don't know what the purpose of it in this conversation.
What's saging, babe? My husband is well versed in this topic.
All right, so saging is an ancient technique that is said to get rid of any negative energy, but come to find out, there's like 3 different types of sage.
Okay.
The white sage is what get rid of negative energy. I forgot what the red sage and the other sage does. But typically, how they work is say a prayer, clear your mind, think positive thoughts, and just walk around your house, doorsteps, front door, places that people walk into, and just clear your house and your atmosphere
Okay.
for the negative vibes.
So what's the question? No.
So is saging okay?
I know Elle that you once did that, but
Yes, so I tried the sage
Hey,
before.
speak up a little bit.
I tried the sage before, and it made me sleepy.
Yeah.
It smell like butt.
That's what Shot says it smells like. But I guess for me, I didn't really think about it as being like, I knew that it was supposed to clear the energy, right?
Mhm.
But after watching the interview or whatever, like I read the article about what Pastor Jamal Bryant said, and it kind of made sense to me because he was saying, yes, it is you're asking for negative energy to move out of that space, but who are you asking?
That's a good
You
question.
know what I'm saying? So I look at it like I don't think anything is. I feel like if something doesn't personally convict you to not do it, then it's not that big of a deal. But if you have a personal conviction that says, all right, I shouldn't be doing this, or you feel wrong in that act, I don't think you should move forward with doing stuff like that. So for me, with saging, I never had like a personal conviction. But when I read it, I was like, it makes sense. Who am I really asking to remove a negative energy out of my space? You know what I'm saying? So you got to be very careful about what you're actually like putting out there. Now with stones, I had a similar situation with stones, and I felt the conviction, and I never used stones again.
What kind of conviction did you feel?
So like, someone had gave me a stone, like, and you're supposed to smudge the stone before you use it or whatever. I literally sit on the side of my bed, and I heard God say, "Don't do that ever again." And I took that stone, I threw it in the trash, and I never did it again. So I didn't get that with saging, but I definitely got that with the stone. So I think it's like, because we are in this whole new age black girl magic world,
which is witchcraft.
But don't just say black girl magic. Go ahead.
No, it's
I'm
literally a
black girl
thing.
magic.
It's literally a thing right
It's
now.
not necessarily a black girl thing.
It's
so
no,
that's
it
what you
is.
think.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
what you think.
yeah, this whole it's like really waving
Yes.
over African American women.
It is, and it's like there's this huge like call of witches that are rising, and I think that the normal everyday person who's not well versed in that world, when you hear black girl magic, you only think of it as, oh, we're special, we're unicorns, or da da da. It's deeper than that. So you have
It's
to
a
be
double
careful.
entendre.
Exactly. So you got to be careful what you are. Like, I've never used the word black girl magic, not because I didn't think I was.
You're not magical?
No, I'm not. I'm very human. All of this blood, this cough I got, all of this stuff is human.
That phlegm.
So
You got corona.
Don't say that.
it's not funny.
It's okay. You're fine.
Thank you.
You're
It's about to
healthy.
go in.
In Jesus' name. Go ahead.
But yeah. So I've never used that. I think and I also think what it does. I think the reason why I kind of shied away from the black girl magic as well is because I feel like every time we're great or we're excellent, it has to be like magical or fictitious.
Inhumane.
Like, oh, you can't be like, you can't just be a dope,
A regular
great,
woman.
excellent black woman. It has to be like, oh no, this is not even human. So let's make it magical.
So can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
So it is said that a lot of these practices have been passed on through time over time. Back in ancient times when Jesus exists, one thing like frankincense, that's my favorite scent. That's one of my favorite scents.
Mm-hmm.
They used that. They used the stone jasper.
Mm-hmm.
They've used sage back then.
Mm-hmm.
So why is there such a negative connotation to it now when these have existed for time? Since time started. Like,
I think it's all, like I said, all in the use.
mm-hmm.
And what you're using it for. Like there were also mediums back then.
Mm-hmm.
There were mediums that called up prophets.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then if you look today in 2020, if you hear someone say, a pastor talk about a medium, they're going to say, oh, that's witchcraft.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's all in the sense of what the thing was used for. And I think what we use things for now, we don't know what the heck we're doing.
Yeah.
And so unless you are really well versed in this world, like spirits and energy, that stuff is real.
Absolutely.
So you have to understand what you're actually doing before you call something or evoke something that you mess up your whole life because you don't know what you're doing.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Personally, did you look into these things before before that friend gave you that stone? Did you look it up, like the properties behind it?
I didn't.
Okay.
So like for me, and that's why I was saying, like, even with the sage, only thing I really knew about sage was from like seeing people use it and like knowing that these words were in the Bible, but me personally knowing anything, no.
Okay.
And so that's why I'm happy with me how my personal conviction came, because generally I don't do something unless I research it, because I don't want to say I'm a part of something I don't even know what the heck I'm doing.
Okay.
So once I had that conviction, I left it alone because it wasn't anything that I needed to go further into. I knew exactly where I stood with it. So yeah, so that's why I'm saying I feel like if you're gonna do something, I don't judge a person for doing it. You just need to know what you are getting yourself involved in.
So, go ahead.
I was gonna say, because when me and Javon have our conversations, like, well, we need to sage. And I'm like, I'm not saging anything. I'll pray, but I think the biggest issue for me with saging and stones and all of that, like you said, who are you asking and who are you believing in? I did a little bit of research, so I did see that saging, I guess the smoke from the sage, it does clear or clean the air quality in your home. So that for me is a scientific property.
Right.
So for that, I mean, if you're trying to clean the air of your home, I guess it disinfects up to 94% or something like that I was reading. I can understand that. But for me, in my own personal conviction, I'm not about to believe in sage to get rid of spirits. In my mind, that's just like believing in like onions to get rid of like vampires. In my mind, in my own personal in my own personal conviction. But what I was gonna say was, if a spirit leaves my house, who am I giving glory to? Am I giving glory to this sage and my own personal ability to burn it and manifest and speak this spirit out of my house?
But remember at the beginning, before you even sage, you're praying.
Okay.
So that's the first step. That's what you should do.
Okay.
If you talk to someone who really knows how to use sage, they tell you that the first thing you have to do is pray and clear your mind. That should be the first step anytime you sage.
Okay. But who are you praying to?
That's your personal decision. So, speaking from personal experience, and I will open up a bit. I haven't been a Christian since I was 12 or 13. I've started for the past 2 years, like try to get back into the church. My biggest thing was I did not like how the church was orchestrated. That was my biggest thing. It wasn't necessarily anything against Jesus or anything like that. But during my
you ain't like the structure of church.
The structure, the hypocrisy, the dogmatic system that it could be.
Yeah.
I didn't like all that. So I did say that I wanted to build a relationship with God on my own, and I definitely learned a lot about different spiritual practices. Personally, when I was about 23, I did mess with stones. I even had a point where I had 2 necklaces made with stones. I had a rope with it made an ankh, and it had 7 stones.
You like a nigga with an ankh.
So it had actually a girl I used to talk to used to call me a fake hotep because I made her mad about one thing, but I'm not even a hotep, so whatever.
She called you a fake hotep nigga.
Fake hotep nigga, there we go.
Was there an MF in there too?
No, it was a nigga. That was her way of cussing me out. But I had an ankh that had 7 stones in it, and each stone represented a part of the chakras. I had another chain that was made out of copper, and it was a rope, like ropes, like copper built together.
Yeah.
And that had 4 big stones, and it had jasper, rose quartz. I can't remember the other 2. But I picked those stones personally from doing research about what those stones and the meanings were. Like rose quartz was meant to heal the heart. Things like that. So, but walking down that path, again, I'm a person, I do research. I had people that I could reach out to. Also, I was in the Pan-African movement back then. So there's 2 bookstores in Norfolk that you can just sit down and talk to people who deal with stones all day, and they have no problem answering your questions. There's House of Consciousness and there's Conscious Planet. Both of those off Granby Street. So
I think I could food House of Consciousness.
if you're vegan,
Shout out to them.
yeah, definitely.
I feel like all they guys stand on the corner with the microphones.
No, those
That's the same thing.
No, it's not. Completely different.
Oh, is that Black Israelites or something
Black
like that?
Israelites,
Yeah.
right. They're a bit extreme, but
Yeah.
they can have the same principles in their extreme views, but nonetheless. But again, my principle, my foundation was around God, not because, like you were saying, like you could pray to a lot of different people, like Yoruba. I looked up Yoruba. Yoruba has a lot of deities in it. It's very similar to Voodoo and Santa Maria. Those are very similar spiritual practices.
That's a jank off of Bad Boys 3.
Bad Boys, yeah.
Bad Boys 3.
But again, you're seeing the negative lights. There's always a positive to the negative.
Positive spin on it.
Right. Even with witchcraft, and I don't see how people have such a negative connotation towards witchcraft, but that's not for me. There's always going to be a positive to witchcraft.
Yeah.
Even down to Christianity, you have good Christians and you have bad Christians. You have bad Christians who will still pray negative things for you.
That is true. Yeah.
So
That's a good point.
I don't really see the negative sides behind stones and sage. And what was the other one?
And spirituality.
Yeah, I don't really see
like numerology and all that.
I look up in numerology. I look up astrology.
Yeah.
Huh?
I'm really
yeah.
It's a number.
But if you ever take the time, you have something called a life path number.
Yeah.
And you're adding up your birthday, and you're getting a number, and that number tells you your life path, how you're going to live your life. But again, if you don't believe in it, then you don't have to believe it.
Yeah.
It's not something that is the way you should live your life. Spirituality is not like that. Even down to astrology. Astrology is not telling you that this is my sun sign, this is who I am. No. Even with astrology, you have different placements of planets in you that build your chart. But again, it's not a way of life.
I think the biggest issue, like Elle said, a lot of people are not doing as much research as you have done.
Absolutely.
And so they're dibbling and dabbling in some stuff that they have no idea.
They're seeing it online on social media and they're just going with
right.
gun
And
ho.
so if you're online and you're on social media, 9 times out of 10 you don't have the discipline that you had to really read and research and all that good stuff. But I think the biggest thing, just going back to what I said, is if you serve the God that we serve, he's a jealous God. He ain't no stone, ain't no sage, ain't no number, ain't no moon or nothing gonna be before him. And my biggest thing has been we seem to give more glory to the things that God created than God.
Can I say something?
Yeah. Hold on. That was my
Okay.
thing. I wrote that down.
Go ahead. Go finish up.
That was my
Finish up.
What point number was that?
That was my point number 3.
Okay.
Number three is like the yeah. So I feel like
Number of completion?
yes. That's the one.
Part. Trinity completion.
Yes, okay. So we are in this day and age, we're praising and giving glory to things that God created. We give glory to the sage, we give glory to the universe instead of saying God. Like God is bigger than all of these things, and he created them, but it seems like he's not getting any glory. It's just like everything else that he created is getting the glory for me.
I can definitely see why you say that. And what I was going to say was, when it comes to things like that, one thing that I said is, these are not the principles of living your life. These are simply tools and resources that you can use to help make your life better.
But you're much wiser.
Right.
So you got kids out here and young adults that are looking for something.
But they have to learn the lessons on their own to still go to God. And what I was going to say was, I personally don't believe that there's multiple gods that you're praying to. You have deities possibly that can be how people view Jesus, that can be their way to God. Right. And that goes against your background, your spirituality. Like I said, Yoruba is a big spiritual practice in Africa to this day. So you have people who practice Yoruba and they have a relationship with God.
Gotcha.
So I'm not going to condemn them.
Oh no, we're not going to condemn nobody.
But on my, I don't necessarily see the bad and all this stuff.
So
and what I was about to say was, another thing was something that you were saying. If you look up holistic practices, our true medicine has always been plants and herbs.
That is true.
Sage is nothing but an herb.
That is true.
And they're using a property in sage to try to heal.
But
are we trying to heal, or are we because I don't see it as healing.
I
don't see clearing energy as healing.
And I don't even see it as clearing energy. I see it as if the scientific. That's the only. What's the word? That's the only significance that I would give sage. The scientific.
But can I ask you a question? Open-minded question, right?
Yeah.
How can you know if you've never tried it?
Because I wouldn't want to try anything else. I already know God and the blood of Jesus to be my way of clearing spirits. So I would never use sage. If someone came in my house that was, I don't know, the fire department, and they said, because I've been watching 911, shout out to my people, and they said the air quality in my home was horrible. Oh, okay. Well, I heard that sage clears the air quality at 94%. Let me go sage my house. That is the only thing. I don't believe that, in my own personal opinion, and I'm not downing anybody who believes otherwise. But for me, I just believe that sage can't get rid of a demon in my house.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I just don't believe that. I think the only thing strong enough to get rid of a demon, according to my Bible, is the blood of Jesus.
Gotcha.
So that's what I plead.
My closeout comment is going to be,
Okay, come on, segue.
we're in the 21st century, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the 21st century, we've always seen that people don't always agree with a particular religion,
Yeah.
right? Especially in the age of technology, I feel like we're being open to a lot more spiritual practices that exist that we never knew existed, right? So I'm all for personally going out and trying a new spiritual practice that brings you to God. If that's stones, if that's saging, whatever brings you to God, I'm all for it. Okay. But I will say that reach out to someone who knows what they're doing, that has experience in that practice that you want to have. With social media and technology, I'm sure you can Google or you can look up an astrologist and have a conversation with them in their DM. You can talk to people, and people are willing to talk to you to explain to you the ways around that spiritual practice.
Well, I have two last things to say. One, just playing devil's advocate, would you consider olive oil to be...
Those aren't statements, those are questions.
Rhetorical. Would you consider olive oil to be the equivalent of sage for Christians? Because some people will find themselves believing once the oil transfers on your body, then that's when the healing comes, right? So
that's a good question.
That's
rhetoric.
I feel like olive oil is great for the skin and my hair.
And cooking.
And anointing. But what is the significance?
So are you giving praise to the olive oil?
Exactly. So I don't. That's
just a rhetorical question.
That is good. That is good.
And I forgot my second one because I can't hold.
Yeah, and that's a whole like 25 minutes on
saging and
stones.
I feel like if you knew about this conversation, you would be more.
I don't know.
I think what we got so far is really, really good.
I think so.
Okay. What's next topic?
Okay, I was gonna throw my little scripture out there. There's but one way. Let's just go ahead and break the mold.
The mold.
Let's go from sage stones and spirituality to how to get more head in marriage.
How to get more head.
How to get more head.
More head.
So me and Elle.
Yeah, how long? Because I have a headache.
I have Motrin.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to go get that now?
I'll wait.
Okay. So you got a head ache. Did you get head yesterday?
No, that was a trash segue. That was a horrible segue.
Fired up, man.
I'm sorry. Okay. So yeah, I remember having a conversation with Elle.
So where did this stem from? Let's bring it all together
How
story
to get more head?
Yeah.
I was about to tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
I remember having a conversation with Elle like years ago. I was coming out of the neighborhood and we were talking about how we would teach men or do like a conference or like a workshop with men on how to get more head. You don't remember that? Yes. It was one of our we had a lot of random conversations. But yeah, we were talking about how we would teach men how to get more head.
Interesting that I said that.
Yeah.
So what is the concept behind getting more head? And
I think men all want head like every day. Like my husband's playing footsie with me now.
Y'all always doing some weird stuff.
Yeah, mind business, Joe.
And y'all got the whole welcome friends sign.
Swingers.
We're not swingers. Yeah, I feel like men want more head. And do we have the urge to give head?
I guess it depends on who you are. I don't be like, well, never mind. Maybe sometimes, but it's just not like I wake up just like, yeah.
No. What happens right before you want to give head?
Your mouth get a little juicy.
You're drunk. For me, it's like my husband bring me home. He just brought me home 2 bags of chips from IKEA and some chews from the corner store or something like that out of the hood. That makes me want to give head.
Oh yeah, if you get like a get something.
Like he folds some clothes.
Like, oh snap! It smells good in here.
Right.
It don't even smell like bleach.
Let me go get this man some head. So I really wanted to introduce this topic. How important is head to y'all?
I prefer sex over it.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's a young dude thing with it. Because most of my friends who have younger husbands, they be like, "But what's up with
What's that with it?
What's up with that head though?
That's a good. That's the title for the video. What's
Yeah.
up with that head?
I never said that I prefer head over sex.
Really?
I never said that.
But you want head a lot.
I do. Before sex.
Is that like?
Oh, that's the foreplay.
Yeah.
Is that your?
every time?
Yes. So my mindset, and y'all mind if I be vulgar?
Yes, this is
My
real
mindset
raw.
has always been, I'm gonna give you head, I'm gonna lick your booty. Before we have sex, that's always my mindset. So
Hold on, you eating ass every time?
every time. I have no problem.
Damn. I thought that was like a birthday thing.
No, sir. That's normal life.
I might use the most.
God damn.
Please. Please.
Yeah, let's take a break on that.
I'll be back.
All right, we're back from break.
So I said all that to really talk about intimacy and what intimacy is to each gender in a relationship.
But what is, like, when, I mean, not,
Cause y'all
do
just
you
be
feel
one
like,
head.
are you comfortable asking for it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable with him asking you?
I just hate the way he asks.
And I say that because we had a conversation about this a while ago with some friends, and we were talking about, like, it could be.
Hold on. How does he ask?
I was about to say, how do I ask? I don't know.
Can you suck it?
I try to be polite with it.
No.
Not can you suck my dick?
No. We have like a whole yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of.
If I get in bed and Javon naked, I know it's either can you suck it or
Let me eat that booty.
no.
You don't have to ask.
No, I don't have to ask at all. I really don't. We could be out and about. He's gonna be like, you gonna let me look your booty tonight? And I'd be like, But yeah, I think it's the way he.
Like,
No,
again.
I know. I'd be like, yes. I'm gonna take a shower. But like you said, it's just sometimes the way they ask, the day leading up to it. Like for women, intimacy is different. Intimacy starts when we
You
wake
agree with
up.
that?
100% agree. I think that.
I could pour you some juice. You've been eating. I'm just kidding.
I didn't want to do it while she was recording, so.
Why? I mean, it's the podcast.
Yeah.
Fine. Go ahead, Elle. You got it.
What is the question?
I don't even know anymore. What's the
We were talking about intimacy, how it starts when we wake up.
Yeah. Cause like I think guys have like we had this conversation of I feel like women, to be honest with you, want sex way more than men. We just physically don't have the energy to do it all the time. Maybe there needs to be a sage for that.
Yeah.
If they make a sage that can give me all the energy that I have in my mind, then we'll be on point. But I think that women
we fantasize about sex all day.
Yeah, women want it way more.
Got
It's just like the physical.
Women say that. I don't believe that.
It's true.
I don't believe it.
We do.
Because
Okay.
you will have more sex than what you do.
No, we do.
No, we be
You don't because
tagged.
y'all don't understand this. Like for men, when men have sex, they are almost 99.9% guaranteed an orgasm every single time. It's not that way for women. It's not.
But during that last conversation, you said that sex still feels good when you don't orgasm.
It does.
It does, but it's not the best. Which one would you prefer? Sex without it or with it? We want it with it.
I don't know how it is without it.
Exactly. So imagine you having sex all the time and never having an orgasm.
You never had like trash sex.
Oh yeah, I had that. I was playing. I have had sex in that.
But how would you like it if like 90% of the time you had sex, it never led to orgasm? How do you think you would respond to that?
I mean, I wouldn't do it, but
That's why a lot of women don't do it.
uh,
That's why because a lot of women don't. Some women have never even had one before.
I've heard that.
So people don't like. It takes a lot for women to have orgasms. It's not the line, the moon, the star, everything. The retrograde
has to be in line.
aligned. Everything has to be just right. So I think that those are the things that men don't understand. So in our mind, yes, we want to because we want to feel the same thing that you feel. It just takes us a longer time to get there, or We have to clear our mind. Like we can't be thinking about all the other 20 things that we are thinking about. We got to suppress
it's really
that.
mental for women.
It's very mental.
Yeah.
98%.
Yes.
But if you're thinking about it all the time, shouldn't that be the superseding thought in your head?
How random are my thoughts?
Oh yeah.
So my head has millions of thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like our thought cycle, we're women, so our thought cycle. So it's almost like we fantasize.
Until I was married, I've never like really imagined like the mind of a woman.
Yeah,
like,
we fantasize about this like over and over and over again, and then sometimes you just kind of. In the morning, you're like, oh, you're working, I'm thinking about sex, Lunchtime, I'm still thinking about sex. About 3-4 o'clock come around, you're like, dang, I'm tired. Mm-hmm. Then I come home, and I come back to my reality. It's like I've been fantasizing all day, but then I come back to my reality. But then if I come back to my reality and dinner is cooked, and the kids are already put to bed, and and everything is done.
Yeah, then your mind's clear.
Then my mind is clear. Then I can get some head. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah.
You can get and give.
That's good. Get and give.
Now, what I would suggest, because this is something that we have incorporated, we made a pact with friends, because the way that men ask for head is so, like, it can be degrading. Mm-hmm. And I know that you're not doing
Why women don't ask for head?
Do I ask for head? No, I don't have to. It just kind of happens.
Do you have that? You don't like head?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Prime example though.
I used to be like really, really into it, but not like I used to. You know what? I think changed? Me not being fully vegan anymore.
What I gotta do with it?
I don't know, but I feel like there's a correlation because
with your sex drive?
When I was fully vegan, I had a different love for it than I do now.
Right.
Like I would almost say that I preferred it. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't say that now.
Also, when I'm vegetarian, I had a different sex drive too.
I really think, now that I'm thinking about it, I really think that's what this
a different drive for a lot of things, being vegetarian.
So you think meat slows you down?
Yes.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
I could see that.
And I worked out like 6 days a week too.
I worked out 5 days a week.
So all my life was just
well
like
balanced.
great. Yeah.
Well balanced machine.
But I think that you should create signals. So we've created signals that lets us know when it's
like random signals throughout the day.
No, it's just one signal.
Okay.
It's like
no.
Nah.
Can we ask what that signal is?
Yeah, what is the signal?
Touch your earlobe.
Yeah.
You touch hers or yours?
Either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like words. Are you a word person?
But you don't like when people say suck it.
I don't like when you say.
I can do a signal. You want to suck my dick? Is that what you want to say?
What if Javon just came in the room and just like?
Yeah, that is true.
It depends on the type of mood. It
like
depends.
vulgarness.
Yeah, sometimes I like vulgarness in the bedroom, but then there's sometimes I want romance.
Right.
So I guess we just got to figure out how to be on one accord.
Signals, yeah.
Signals?
What signals for romance? What signals for vulgarness?
Okay, you want to do signals? We'll try it out to see if it works for us.
Yeah.
You know, we only tried it out maybe two times of being successful.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think give me time to prepare my mind for like the vulgarness or for the romance, because I'm not always in a romantic mood.
You're never. Sometimes.
Mind your business.
Sometimes he is. But prime example, to go back to what you were saying, we really be wanting to. Like last night, I sent Javon a text like, come upstairs, I want to ride it. That's the last thing I remember seeing.
Yeah. Meantime, I'm downstairs. Huh?
You knew she was going to be asleep by the time you got
No, but meantime.
Oh, y'all drunk too though.
Right, no, she was. I wasn't.
What? You what?
I was not drunk.
Okay, Javon.
But meantime, she was upstairs. I'm downstairs making sure GJ finished his chores before everybody went upstairs so I can lock up. So by the time I got upstairs, she's knocked out asleep.
Why I ain't get no text like that?
I was working on my dissertation.
I ain't talking about last night. I'm just talking about in general.
Or you want to ride it? Sometimes you just gotta throw it out there.
But that's not. You need to let these people worry about their marriage.
I'm just saying, like,
Nothing to do with that.
I'm just saying, I don't get texts like that in general.
Are you saying you want more texts
Yeah.
like that? There you go. That's like so that.
Stay in your marriage.
No. I'm saying we're gonna talk about communication.
That's part of communication.
That's one of our topics. That's a perfect segue. We were gonna talk about communication and consideration. So another way to rephrase that, instead of saying why I don't get texts like that, hey Elle, I would like you to text me some nasty stuff every now and then.
I would like a nasty text. I would like to fake sleep and you pull my boxes to the side.
Hey, chill out.
You heard it going to sleep.
I want to rise up and you just, pull them down and
Pull
go.
my drawers down. Dang. I mean, that's what communication
Do not
is.
listen to him. Do not.
Why don't listen to
Like,
me?
really?
Because I do that. I do that. Yes, I dude. Yes, I do.
Stay in my marriage.
I'm trying not to go into detail.
You want me to tell you that's why you just come to bed naked. That's the signal. Okay. You just always come to bed naked when I'm dog tired. I slip in bed. I'm like, dang it.
That's a signal.
But yeah, so communication. I'm finding that I didn't do any research, but let's throw out a random number. Most marriages end because two people cannot communicate. Would you agree?
Absolutely. There's so much that you have to communicate on consistently.
So what are some communication barriers that you've experienced in other relationships?
What you mean?
Any communication barriers? Like
In general?
yeah, or it doesn't even have to be a married relationship. What communication barriers do you experience in relationships, period?
I can't do passive aggressive.
Passive aggressive.
What does that mean for people who don't know?
Passive aggressive is like
What Shy just did.
Yep.
Okay.
I cannot do passive aggressive. It aggravates me.
It gotta be black and white.
Black and white, straight. I cannot, because I have triggers. So I'm gonna have to sit on the floor and talk to you softly because I'll be ready to fight. Like, so I can't do passive aggressive. I feel like you're being condescending.
So is that one then? Like, and do you? I don't want to open up. Okay, so like you said, you have triggers. Is it like walking on eggshells sometimes, not to avoid one of her triggers, or do you care?
I don't really think she has too many triggers.
We don't.
I have triggers. I have triggers dealing with other people who got triggers where I got to walk on eggshells.
Right, I feel that.
So either I go all the way in and like don't care and just say whatever I want, or I go the other way and just keep everything to myself.
So there's no in between for you.
Yeah.
Except that passive aggressive. I can't even say it. Passive aggressive way you just
Passive
said
aggressive.
Passive aggressive. Where you just said you wanted head.
Yeah. I think for me, I have to communicate. Like if I'm not happy or if I'm upset, I have to, because I know that if my mind is idle, I think very bad thoughts. So for me, I have to I know my triggers, so I have to be able to put myself in a position where I'm not triggered to do something stupid.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I can't, if I can't communicate with you, then I can't have a relationship with you. Or if I know that what I'm thinking or what I'm saying is going to be harmful or toxic to you, then it's probably best that we don't have any relationship
If they
at
take
all.
it personal.
But how do you deal with someone like that? Like I know in one of my relationships, and like I said, I'm not just talking about a married relationship, I'm talking about communication. The person that I talk to, they always feel like that I'm against them.
Hey, yo, why you bringing up your exes for, yo?
I'm not bringing up an ex. Don't.
Don't.
But they always feel like I'm against them. So it's like when I'm communicating or trying to talk to this person, whatever I say, they take it as like a dart. And sometimes I have to say, like, I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm just really just trying to have a regular day-to-day conversation.
So they feel like you're attacking them all the time.
Yeah, but we could be just talking about anything. Like, no, that's not right. What?
Yeah.
Brittney does have this way of making you feel like she thinks she's better than you.
Why?
Okay, so
He said that,
but you have
how?
to. It's not something that your son has the same characteristic. The same characteristic.
Yeah, I know what characteristic you're talking about.
So you have it. It's not even something that you do to be a
I know
jerk.
someone like that,
But you just have that characteristic.
and one thing that I've noticed about you, you tend to let things pass instead of saying it right there in that moment.
Because I got to simmer on it
Right,
first.
but so if you allow it to pass, and that person may have not thought about it anymore, and then you bring it up days, weeks, months later, then I'm like, why are you still talking about it?
It takes me a while to process.
Right, but so that's something that could irritate someone who doesn't know that about you.
Is it someone you?
No, because I've learned that you do that.
Someone is me. I am someone.
Yeah, and it works for me because I can be very methodical myself.
Right, it takes me a while to process. But that is not the purpose. I guess that is communication.
It is.
But yeah, it does. It takes me a while to process. Like even when I'm in an argument or like something like that, I don't really say much. But then like it takes me like a couple.
You think
hours.
about it later on.
It takes me a while to get pissed off. Then when I get pissed off,
fixated on like there's no talking you down.
no, it's not. It's bad.
It's not.
It's really. That's why I don't try to. I don't know how to get angry in the moment, and it's probably good. I think. Who?
I do.
I know you do. So it's probably good that we're like this.
Yeah, I don't think I really get angry in the moment either.
It take you a while, don't
Yeah, I really got to sit there and like really think about it.
Like, oh, this.
I can't if I allow myself, but I learned how to calm myself down. How many times have you seen me mad? Like mad like that day at Kroger spot.
Maybe one other time.
Right.
Yeah. Don't marry him until you see him mad. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I just really want to talk about communication because I'm seeing a lot of people just really end relationships because of a communication barrier.
And not getting enough head. Does head solve a lot of problems?
No.
It doesn't?
Temporary fix.
Does head solve a lot of problems?
I don't really move off head like that. Not getting no ass getting ass will solve a lot of problems.
It would?
Yeah.
Like what?
I feel like it makes you like less anxious. Like if I don't
take the edge off.
Yeah. And now I'm ready to do whatever after that. Like
okay.
When I don't get no ass, it's like everything like in the Wolf of Wall Street, like everything just feel real heady, like everything's like above shoulders. Like I feel like real jittery and all that shit. Like once I get some ass, I'm like, yo,
you good? It don't
chill.
matter. So if Elle ate the last piece of bread and you was trying to go downstairs and make you a sandwich and you ain't
just like how y'all ate my bread.
She offered me.
I ain't forget about that.
I don't eat bread.
Were you mad?
I'm like,
you was.
Yo,
you was mad. Had you got some booty? I mean, see. Get that man some get cussed out.
To go with Shaw was just saying, me and my friends got this thing in our group chat to where they say,
thanks. It was a lifesaver though.
They say, before you make a irrational decision, or before you go say I want to beat with this girl, beat your meat.
Oh yeah.
Before that, you feel
it clears the head.
Clear your mind.
Yeah.
That's good advice. Is that what you did before you proposed to me?
Yes. That's so good.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. Before you say you want to be with a girl?
Mm-hmm. A lot of my friends are single. They're single for a reason. I love y'all though. But, yeah.
So before you make any decision or be with a woman, beat your meat first.
A decision in life.
No, not in life. Not in life.
I would say your life.
I could too.
Your hair is way more clear after you like let one loose. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Also like
it
that.
Is. Maybe all tingly. But I'll go ahead and say also what?
I was about to say also like that when I take a shit too, but I'll be in a whole new better mood.
No.
You are lighter.
What?
You are lighter.
Okay.
But can we talk about the communication thing?
Yeah.
So I think
don't talk about the communication styles and all that stuff. You better talk about that.
No.
Oh, okay, my bad. Sorry.
I was gonna say I think comprehension is a big part of communication that people.
As far as what?
Like understanding what you're saying. Like
some people talk to listen.
right.
Like listen, don't just talk to argue or to win.
Right.
Yeah.
Like don't just rebuttal. Understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
And I feel like, especially a lot of men, we rebuttal instead of taking things in. So I feel like that's a big part of communication that we miss or drop the ball. Yeah.
What causes that?
So going off the story you were saying, definitely ego.
Okay.
And I think that you get so fixated sometimes on being right or what your intention was that you miss the entire conversation. Like we had this argument one time about like we had went to one of our friends' house and these girls felt that Rashad was flirting with them. And I was telling Rashad, like, if someone calls me after I leave a place and say your husband was flirting with me, like your husband was flirting with my friends and they feel that way. Yes, I understand that my husband wasn't flirting with you because I know who he is, but I'm also upset because now people think you're out here flirting with them.
And I got a phone call.
And I get a phone call.
So
And so Rashad doesn't see it as, I understand what you feel, Elle. He didn't see it as that. He just wanted to argue that that's not what happened. You know what I'm saying? So that caused us to butt heads because you're not understanding. You were so busy wrapped up in your ego and what you weren't doing that you didn't understand what that looks like for me.
Right, gotcha.
Were you able to communicate that though?
We
in
still
the moment.
at odds like today because of that situation.
To be
You're not at odds.
to be on that
It's not something y'all
side.
can talk
Well,
about.
it's not something that I'm not gonna say we're at odds. It was to agree to disagree.
Okay. So to be on that side, and I'm not for sure if this can go off topic, but should he try to change that person's perception of who he is?
No, I do not think that.
Okay.
But I do think that he has to be mindful. What you can do around my friends that know you is different than what you can do around someone who doesn't know you and that's single. Because if y'all know Rashad will walk up to you and be like, is it your hair?
Yeah.
And he's dead. He's just being serious. That's who Rashad is. But someone else is like, oh, you feeling on me. You know what I'm saying? So, but Rashad is more like, you sure this is the right texture? Because I don't think you're supposed to put this one with that hair.
Or your eyebrows.
Yeah. You're like, wait a minute. You know your eyebrows?
But that's who he is.
That's who he
so
is.
why
But
does
if
he
you
have
don't
to change?
know him.
But that's when I realized that outside of y'all and maybe like one or two other people, Elle friends ain't my friends.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because once I realized that, because I was thinking of like, yo, if you really know me,
Yeah,
you wouldn't say that. Yeah. So once I kind of got that in my head, like the people that she hangs out with aren't really my people. Like if me and Elle broke up, I would probably never talk to them.
Yeah, real.
So once I realized that, it made me like, all right, well, when I'm around them, I kind of play a little different.
Yeah.
Before I was just like, yo,
You can't be yourself.
yeah.
But I heard something that you didn't say. It seemed like you were saying that in your mind, you knew it wasn't that, but you were still upset.
Yeah.
And that's something that I don't know if all women go through it, but it's like, you know what the reality is, but let me deal with the fake.
The perception of
perception of it.
Right.
And I think,
Because I don't like for me, it was less about what you thought happened. It was more about your perception of my husband, because I care what people think about my husband. Like if you, because that's my husband. Like regardless of what he says or what he does, I'm very protective. So if you say something crazy about my husband, then we probably gonna have a real problem. So for me, it was less about that, and it was more so about he doesn't need protection from for me, but I feel like I have to protect him.
Gotcha.
So instead of me saying, which is what I should have said in that situation to him, I feel like someone has come for your character, and that bothers me. Instead of me saying that, you know what I'm saying?
If you would have worded that way,
Yeah.
he would have took that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But in that moment, I couldn't do that. I was too angry.
Right,
I was
right,
more
right.
so of like, you don't understand what I'm saying, instead of saying
And
someone
I
came for
think-
you and I'm pissed.
I think something that, like an incident that happened to me yesterday, gets me to understand that, because I feel like one of the young girls that we were working with, not necessarily on our staff, but she was there with another staff. I feel like she could have took me joking and making sure she was good as flirting. And like at that moment, like, okay, I can see what Brittney says with stuff like this, but that's not my instinct.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm trying to do. But I get it.
A lot of times for me, because I know myself, when I have to separate reality from what my perception is at that moment or what my imagination is telling me, I just tell Javon, and he'll know I'm pissed off because my whole mood will change. He's like, what happened? You were just good. Why'd your mood change? I say, just give me a minute. I'm pissed off. Let me just process through this. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm pissed off at you. It just means that because she laughing.
If you don't
she
give me a
laughing
moment.
because she women. Yeah. So prime example, Javon liked a picture of somebody that I told him don't do nothing. Nothing. Because men don't understand a simple like is like, oh, to the woman on the other end it's like, oh.
Let me screenshot.
Right.
Girl, look.
I'm still in there.
She thought she had him.
Right, I'm still in there. See?
You really think girls will be doing that?
He don't think that. So
Yes, we
I
do.
said, but
Again, I've learned a lot about the women's mind as I've been married.
literally, I'm in the car. We having a good day. I scroll. I see cooking with boy that. See, I said. So my whole
And God
mood
is
changed.
petty. I say it all the time. I'm gonna get a shirt.
Mm-hmm.
God would let that. I'm not
I
trying
won't
to
do him to hide nothing.
I know, but I'm just telling you, but God about God, He will let that thing come right on up, so you can be like, go ahead and check that.
Yep. That's true though. What happened with GJ? I told you.
Yeah,
But anyway,
true.
so I saw that and my whole mood changed. Now, my imagination was telling me I told this to not like any more. Hold on, let me finish.
Oh, no, go ahead,
To
go
not
ahead.
like any more pictures. Oh, now he thinks she cute. Da, 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 da. But then my reality was telling me he don't know what he doing. He just liked it because whatever the words were. He proud. Da, 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 da. That was for me. So I had to let everything come back into divine alignment within my mind before I actually spoke on the issue. So normally my response is just give me a minute.
Mm-hmm. Oh, was it the one that you called me about?
Yes.
Oh.
To calm me down. Sometimes you gotta phone a friend.
That's it.
Sometimes you gotta phone a
That was a
friend.
rough one. I didn't say
Elle.
nothing. No, I just said.
Elle, you are low key. I mean, you're not the Holy Spirit, but you made intercession. You made intercession. Sometimes you gotta phone a friend. You don't phone a friend on me sometimes? Don't lie.
let it. Jesus. Brittany.
So, question. This
I wish somebody would do that to my husband.
so
That's
question.
all, just my
So question in regards to like the same two examples y'all listed, is stuff that is out of our control for the most part. Do y'all feel like me and Elle have had this conversation before, but I feel like men have to change who they are when they get married. And I feel like women don't necessarily have to change that much.
Do.
As far as what?
That's good.
everything.
Let's go back to men have to change. You guys have to, and me and Elle have had this conversation. I don't think y'all have the eyes. I know that God did not give y'all the eyes that we have. So the things that we have the ability to see, y'all don't see them. So me and Elle had this whole conversation where it was like, men are stupid. I'm like, no, they're not stupid. We're going to talk positive. They are oblivious. Y'all are completely oblivious to how women work. That's what we're really talking about. Mm-hmm. Let's just throw it out there. We're talking about men and women interaction. A woman, prime example, not to bring up stuff, but the cupcakes. Like, women.
I'm drinking this like it's alcohol.
And then the like, or whatever. What's another thing? The candles. Okay? Women don't just do stuff to be doing stuff.
Cool.
Y'all don't have to change.
We probably
who
dealt
y'all
with.
are. Y'all just gotta don't take stuff.
And the difference is, you feel like you have to change who you are. We want to change who we are. Because
good.
what I can do, I promise you, the things that you experience, I experience way more than you do. But I check it. So I think what men don't understand is we will go, because we know how men.
But don't women check that even when you're single? Because if you're not feeling somebody, then you're just checking, you're shutting that down no matter what, right?
It's different.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's about attention.
I feel like for me, and I probably would say this for most of them. I can't speak for all women, but I would say for some. I think that men become, just like with men become more interested in you when you get settled in a relationship or married.
But isn't that women as well?
Yeah, it could be. It could be. But what I'm saying
I'll say more so women.
But what I'm saying is we experience the same things that y'all experience. The difference is, for some of us, we want to make sure that we do not go down that road.
Right.
So we check it at the door. For y'all feel like y'all have to change because this is who I was, and now I got to switch this around so that this doesn't happen. For me, it's...
But don't women...
Can I finish my statement?
Okay.
So I feel like for women, like for me, which I've talked about openly before, Rashad's the only guy I've never cheated on. So for me, knowing that, I make sure that I don't put myself in a position where I can cheat on him. I do not have a lot of guy friends that are not Rashad's friends. Like I just put myself in a position so that I don't do anything stupid. Because for me, in my past, cheating wasn't something because I had a physical attraction or I emotionally was connected. I just did it because I could. It was like a conquer for me. So
you's a nigga.
Straight up. So for me, because I don't want to put myself in that situation, and because I love my husband, I make sure I don't put myself in a situation that's gonna. So I've completely changed, and that's because I wanted to change. So I think sometimes with men, you feel like now I got to change who I am. But wouldn't you want to change who you are?
But see, okay, so for men and personal, right? I'm a character guy, right? Character is everything. But I'm also aware that I can be flirty, and sometimes it's not intended to be, right? So, do I have to like channel my charisma ways?
You got to switch it up.
Charm.
I don't think
you
I
do.
don't think so.
Because that's going to get women.
Exactly.
But I don't think.
But
because I see you as charismatic, but I've never felt like you've tried to hit on me. Like that's so I can't. But
because you're not a vulnerable woman.
I was about to say that you're right. So it could be to a more vulnerable person they could look at. But I don't know.
you would have to change.
Yeah.
You would have to change. Because I know with me, like when I used to like be single, I could ask a woman like, "So what you trying to do with your life?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to do X, Y, and Z."
Like,
and I was like, "Nah, you bullshit."
Regular conversation.
Then they be on me after that, which is the same conversation I have right now with certain people.
Exactly.
But that's just who I am. Like no nonsense, just cut to the.
But you got to understand that charming and charismatic men attract vulnerable women.
But is that my issue?
Right.
It is not your issue, but you gotta have the eyes to see who is a vulnerable
But so
woman.
and it's gonna bring us to one of our previous conversations that we had, right? Again, I'm a character guy. So if I'm a character guy, I'm going to put up boundaries to make sure that these lines are not crossed. I can still do me, have natural conversations, but if I start to see that these lines are starting to get crossed, then what's the issue?
Yeah,
like, I know
you did it.
Terry, Sir, you
can't
cannot. Sir, your boundaries are very muddy because if they weren't, you wouldn't have people liking and hashtagging you. So your boundaries aren't as clear as you think they are. So that's what you have to understand. And that's what goes back to Brittney's point. Y'all are so oblivious. You think you can handle it, and you cannot handle it.
Like for me, I know I have somebody in my inbox liking things, and I don't respond because I know that's a knock at my door.
Hey, Playboy, I ain't gonna sit there, man.
It's a knock at my. I shut up. It's a knock at my door. It's like, oh, is she gonna open it? Is she gonna keep the chain on and just open the door and speak through the crack? For me, I see. Even if it's nothing to that person, to me, I know what it is. Even if it's nothing.
But back to the original question as far as change. When you were single, you were probably still not responding to dudes, right?
They were. It wasn't the same.
It might not be the same energy, but it was still guys hollering at you and stuff.
No.
It was, but it was. Now I can bring up someone else. So if I don't want to open the door, if I'm single, married, whatever, I'm not going to open the door.
Right.
So like you said, when I was single, if somebody was knocking that I didn't want to open the door to, I just didn't open the door. I didn't respond.
So you already have your filter of like we shooing niggas away. You built that tolerance up to shoot niggas away.
Yeah.
So in essence, to take it back, you don't really got to change but so much.
I didn't change who I was though. I don't think
You
y'all have to
might be
change.
thinking about you personally. I'm just talking about in
But
general.
I think you personally, Elle, your mentality is so much like a guy.
That's true. So it could be different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But in general, women are shutting niggas down since they were like 14. So you really ain't got to change but so much when you get married.
But for y'all, I don't think it's okay.
Once a guy finds kind of his rhythm of how he interacts with people and women, that's kind of like who you are.
It takes years for that to happen as well.
Right.
Okay.
It's because, and something that I never thought about, like as women,
This is
a
crazy.
guy tries to talk to y'all like every day of y'all lives. As guys, we're every day, every year for like until like the ages of, like you say, early 20s.
Yeah.
Early 20s, like you're really trying to figure out what's my flow, like what's me. So once I find
You might be like a Ayo Red Pants nigga.
right,
Okay.
Or you might be like, hey, beautiful, you got to
right,
figure out your
you
flow.
gotta play with all that, like, and it takes years to really develop.
Okay.
And then once you get it, it's like, all right, this is kind of who I am now.
Right.
Okay. Yep. So y'all actually like develop a flow.
Yeah.
But the flow is who you are. Like you can identify with that flow.
So you feel like, all right, so I don't
It's
even know if I
all
want to
clear
say this
now.
out loud.
Like,
It
like
makes
for instance, when we
sense.
first started dating, I was like, "What's up, love?" Like to everybody, not just you. I would say it to your auntie, your mom. I would say it to everybody. But I didn't mean like I wasn't trying to provoke you or.
That was just your thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So y'all are like, I wonder if this is for white men in other cultures as well. I'm thinking about that movie with Stephen Carell, the one with the meme where the guy's like this with the sunglasses. I can't think of the movie. Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah.
And how he's teaching him how to flow and stuff. So that's like a thing for. We're not really taught how to flow.
Because men are the ones that
Are pursuing
The hunters.
This is so good. I never thought about it. And so then you identify with that flow as who you are.
I mean, that's part of who you are.
Yes.
Wow.
Because I've given like.
I think that's BS. No.
I know.
That's
I think
that's
it's
real.
true.
That's 100% real.
I feel like, okay,
Especially if
so
it was on that movie.
if you're telling me that your whole life, I'm sure before 21 you've had friends who were girls that you did not have a love interest in. Or have you had a love interest in every single girl that you were friends with?
Like
Sex
I think in high school and like parts of college, I think a lot. I'm not gonna say every, but a lot of female friends, more guys are mostly interested in first.
With sex. So you can't say love interest. It's just sex interest.
So most of your female friends you want to have sex with.
Not now.
No,
I was saying high school.
Yeah.
And high
Good
school
job.
definitely.
Proud of you. That was nothing
High
but
school
to
and
get a
college, you
9.
said.
Huh?
You said
High school and parts of college, definitely.
So high school and college, you want to have sex with 90% of your female friends.
I won't say 90. I would say 77%.
For most of them, there was a moment. I'll say there was a moment where
right.
you're like, oh,
I could
yeah.
That's-
Or I could see how you were attractive, or
That's
you had this.
so-
No, don't.
I would say
No.
initially-
I can see how you attractive because I feel like all my female friends are attractive. But I feel like there's a moment where I was like, I'm kind of into you for a second.
Yes.
That might be a real quick moment.
Right.
That could be 30 minutes, or that could be like a summer or whatever. But I feel like every female friend, you be like, oh, I'm kind of digging her a little bit, and then it'd be like, oh, I know her way too well. That shit is.
I think women
So you
experience
say
that too.
every female friend, you've had a moment where you could say, I'm kind of digging her.
Not all of them, but I would say probably 75%.
Good number, right?
I think that's crazy.
Why is that crazy?
You ever had moments
But
like
yeah,
But
think about it.
it just makes sense. You're talking to them or you're around them all the time. There's gonna be traits that really stand out to you. You're like, oh, I like the way you think, or we joke.
Right.
All right, so let's just.
Can I ask you a
I'm not a
question?
math
Before you do
girl.
that? Before you bring it up, if you think about it, like, what really starts a male-female friendship?
Sometimes school,
Because-
class.
I'm about to say, we're not
Fun
really,
laughing joke
Work.
on the teacher.
right?
we're not really taught, we're really taught that man and woman should be in a relationship together, not necessarily just friends from an early age. it's not until you really start to develop your own concept. Like, I can have female friends. Like, I feel like now, my female friends that I have now to this day, like, they're solid as a rock. But
I think that we're not. I don't think women are taught that. We're not taught like every guy that we meet likes us. Like, we just have a natural bond. It either turns into like, oh, I really like him, there's a spark, or he's just cool. That's Tony from class.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't think
whole time Tony from class trying to hit that ass.
He is though,
right? And you
Whole time.
right?
He ain't even know it.
So
I do.
No, we know. We definitely know. We just suppress and don't pay Tony any mind outside of that. But I think for me the issue is, if you feel that 75% of the women that you have friendship with, you could have at some point said, I want to hit that. Then you cannot be upset with us when we say 75% of the women that are in your life like you. You cannot. You walked yourself into this door. You opened up the door.
That's
so
good.
You can't be upset when we say, I see it, and you're like, nah, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't. Y'all just told me that I did.
So you're telling me that 75% of women...
That was good.
75% of women had the same mindset that we had.
At some point, yes. When Shad was saying that, I can identify. I remember having conversations with a guy friend in school, thinking like, "Oh, I really want to kiss him." Like right now, at this moment, I want to kiss him. Or you have those moments. It's only natural in a relationship. It doesn't mean that I want to go any further, but it means I want to kiss you at that moment. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
I want to kiss you right now because you just did that with your lips, but. It just sorry. But yeah, but that's true. Y'all have to understand that some of these women out here.
But the way y'all say that, and the way I broke it down, y'all want us to change or switch something based off of that.
I think what you just said about the flow, that was amazing. I believe what you were saying. I think it's true.
But I mean, y'all want.
You think it's bullshit?
You think so?
I really do.
I really don't.
If you're trying to tell me that the only way you can communicate is this one period of time that you learn in your life and you finally learn how,
or this is one way,
you're trying to tell me you're a one way.
He's saying you cannot
be.
I can tell you my flow right now.
I'm good. I don't know.
But no, I do believe him because while y'all were talking about that, I remember that movie and how like Steve Carell was trying to relearn a flow of how to get back out there and converse. He had been married for years. His wife cheated on him, and he didn't. He was used to that flow.
But why does your flow have to be the same for every woman?
Because it works.
It's their comfort.
What is it working? What is it working?
It's not even every woman. Is it just everyone, or is it just women?
So,
is it men and women?
Is it men and women that you come with this flow? Like
it's just where you feel more natural at.
It comes off natural to you.
Yeah.
But it's for men and women.
I don't get what you're saying.
So like when you go up to...
Do you talk to women and men the same way? Do you use that same flow? Okay, so why is it that you use that flow on women if you're married? Or if you have a woman, why do you have to have a flow for women? Why can't you give her the same flow?
I think naturally it's easier to talk to a guy, pause, than it is for women.
Yeah.
Like, without any... Okay.
Because
I can say whatever.
Right, I can say whatever, and we can just have a conversation. Like, it's so easy to talk about things that we're both interested in. Because guys tend to be interested in the same things.
So I think to go back to her question, if you're married, why do you have to have a flow?
Yeah. I don't get that.
Because you're no longer pursuing. So why do you have to have a flow?
So if she don't want to be your friend, then who cares?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
who said a married man still have a flow?
That's what
we're asking.
We never said we still have it, but we said that.
No, it sounds like you were saying you still have that flow. That's how you still
talk
to your
still
friends
like your conversation starter.
That's what you said. We could rewind it back.
Stop being so aggressive.
Let them process. I'm not passive. I'm aggressive.
Okay, but you still gotta let them process.
He got it. He can handle that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm used to it.
Thank you.
Well, dang, I'm trying to hear your thoughts, but I can't because Elle's still talking.
She shouldn't be trying to hear my thoughts.